Good evening, everyone. At 3:01 p.m. on May 17th, 2022, I was forced to make probably one of the hardest decisions that I've ever had to make in my life. I lost my best friend. I lost my precious, sweet, wonderful support dog, Charlie. Charlie had been acting weird for a couple of weeks. I thought he had some stomach issues, and I'd taken him to the vet one time before, and they said, he was fine and stuff like that. Nothing major. So he started acting a little weird about it 2 weeks ago, and so I checked him out, and he seemed constipated. His stomach was real hard and stuff, so I fed him some pumpkin like they said to do, and he went to the bathroom, and he seemed to feel better, and he was doing fine. And then this last couple of days, he was like really feeling kind of bad, and he wasn't his usual perky self. So I said, Charlie, as soon as I get paid, I'm gonna take you to the vet. Well, yesterday I decided he was so miserable he wouldn't eat, he wouldn't walk hardly. So I took him to the vet yesterday afternoon. I spent all, what little money I had, I spent to take him to the vet. Actually that's wrong. I went and got a loan yesterday. I went to a loan place and got a loan, a $600 loan, which is a little bit of money I had. I said, I'm going to get a loan from this loan place. I don't care what I got to pay back. I got to take my dog to the vet. So I rushed down there, took him to the vet. They said that he had a hurt back, that his back was hurting. So I said, okay. So they gave him a cortisone shot. They only charged me like $160 something. So I was like, okay, I'll use this rest of this money to, pay back the IRS and all that stuff, take care of some of these other things in my life. Well, they said he should be better within, a couple hours to 24 hours. Well, that all night he didn't get any better. I called him to come to bed, and he wouldn't even move. He wouldn't do anything. He wouldn't eat. I tried to feed him food. He wouldn't eat. He wouldn't drink. I knew something was really wrong. So this morning, before I went to work, I saw him. I kissed him on his cheek and told him I loved him. And he looked terrible. He barely could raise his head up, and I knew something was wrong. I was like, he's really in bad pain. Maybe he broke his back or something, So I went to school, and I got deathly sick, like not even being there 30 minutes. I got deathly ill, and I threw up. And when I threw up, I literally, something just came over me and told me to go home. So I went home as fast as I could. I told him I was going home, and there he was. He was just laying there. So I put him in the car, and I took him to I took him to the vet. And when I got there, the doctor looked at him. He said, okay, he's not doing good. Let's check him for some things like pancreatitis and things like that. And so he said, we're going to see what's going on. And I said, okay. So I flew back down to the loan place to see if I could get more added onto the loan, which of course I didn't. But I was like, it's okay, whatever. So I waited, while they did the blood work and all this stuff. So when they came and got me, I'm sorry guys, I'm sorry. I waited while they did the blood work, and they came in and they told me that they had found a mass inside of his liver. Now, they said they had missed it yesterday. It was a mass, and they didn't know if it was cancer or anything, but his platelets were really low, and they had noticed that the first time on his blood work, and that's why they redid the ultrasound. And when they walked me back there to see his blood, he was laying on his back on this table with like a tube in his mouth. It was the saddest thing I ever seen. He saw me, he raised his head. I gave him a kiss. I petted him and gave him a kiss. And I told him I'd be back. So I told him that they said they wanted to keep him overnight. And so I said, okay, And the doctor, I took the doctor and I said, look, doc, I only got $500. I said, I'll try to go get another loan, but I don't know what I can do. He said, well, I'm going to waive the fee for him staying overnight, which I thought was one of the kindest things anyone had ever said to me at this point in my life. So I went straight from there to the loan place to see if I could get more money. They told me no. So I was like, okay, whatever. I'll figure it out. Well, I waited a long time and I didn't hear anything, so I called back because I was going to I had told them that I couldn't pick Charlie up until 3 o'clock tomorrow because of school. But I was like, no, you know what? I'm just going to go to work a half day. I'm going to go to school and I'm going to get Charlie in the morning, and then I'm going to probably I'll just probably take the whole day off and sit with Charlie. So I called, and Dr. Gruber was like, hey, Mr. Watts, his chest is kind of breathing, funny, da-da-da. We want to do some, do an x-ray of his lungs. He said he's really struggling to breathe. He said, I was just about to call you. And I said, okay, sir, no problem. So he called me back not even 15 minutes later. And guys, he said there's a lot of blood in his lungs. He said, Mr. Watts, we're losing him. I said, losing him? He said, his fever's already spiked to 106. It wasn't even like that when he got here. He said, earlier we gave him some fluids. Everything was great. He was doing well. And now it's spiked. He said, we're losing him, Mr. Watts. I said, can I come up there? He said, by all means, we want you to. So I got there, and I asked him, was there anything they could do? And the doctor came in, and he's the nicest doctor. He's actually the doctor who took care of Charlie when Charlie was first a little baby. And I'll tell that story another time. It's not so heartbreaking. But like I said, this dog has been with me through every death, everything in my life. This dog has been my best friend. So I said, is there anything we can do? Chemo, whatever, is there anything we can do? And he said, no, there's nothing. I said, can I take him home? He said, it's not going to get any better. He said, he's suffering so bad, and I don't know how much worse it's going to get. And I see Charlie just struggling to breathe. I pick him up to hold him and drool. They said I could hold him, and so I picked him up, put him next to my chest, and drool's just drooling down his little face. And it's like that foam, like drool, and he was just miserable, and I could see it. So I laid with him, or sat there with him, and I talked to him, told him how much I loved him. I sang him I Will Always Love You by Dolly Parton. And then he kept trying to stand up, and he would wag his little tail. Every time I spoke, he'd wag his little tail. And I told him that I wish I could have been a better daddy, that I wish I had the money to do more with. And I'd been so busy with Gypsy, trying to get Gypsy back to health, that I just kind of forgot about poor Charlie. And this dog who came into my life when I needed him the most was about to go out of my life when I needed him the most. I needed Charlie so bad right now. He's my emotional support dog. So, anyway, I laid there. The doctor came in. He told me to take as long as I wanted. And I asked him, and he said, don't worry about it. And he said, we're losing him. And so I waited a little while. And I talked to him again, and finally he tried to stand up one last time, moved over, and I laid him down, and I kept saying, go ahead and go home, Charlie, go home. And I think he meant that's why he tried to stand, because he thought he was going home. I was telling him, I said, go see Buttercup, go see DJ, go see Heidi, go see Grandma and Danny. Go be with them, baby. I'll be all right. I'll be okay. I'll take care of your sister, Gypsy. I'll do what I can. I wanted him to die naturally, guys, because I've never put a dog to sleep. And it's like, oh my God. So I finally realized that there was nothing I could do. Nothing I could do at all. So I finally just told the doctor it was time. The doctor came in, and first he said, how you doing? I said, I'm okay. Can I have a few more minutes? And he said, take all the time you need. And so I had a few more minutes, and I could see Charlie getting worse. His breathing was getting labored, and I could tell. The doctor came in, and he said, let's let him go. He said, it's time to let him go. And I said, I don't want to let him go. He said, the kindest thing you can do. I said, I have one question. I've always heard that when they die, I said, I'm taking him home with me. You don't have to worry about that. But I've always heard that when dogs die and you put them to sleep in a veterinarian's office, if they don't have a family or the family doesn't want them, that you throw them in the trash dump. Is that true? He said, absolutely not. He said, we take them to this wonderful facility, and they're cremated and they're buried in this beautiful farm. And he said, we can do that for you. I said, I don't want Charlie buried on a farm. He said, no, we can have him cremated for you. We can take care of it. And I said, I don't care what it costs. I'm going to have my dog cremated so that I can have Charlie with me. So I sat there and I said, okay, it's time. I'm ready to let you go. And I kissed him on his head. And I took some pictures of him, before he started, when I first got there, as he was getting sicker, just so I could have those pictures of him. And then all of a sudden I told the doctor it was time, and he explained what he was going to do. And he came in, he gave Charlie the first shot, which was like a sedative, like it paralyzes him. And he said, I'm going to get the rest shot, but you can still talk to him, he can hear you. So I loved him and kissed him and told him how much I was going to miss him. And my life was never going to be the same without this dog, ever, ever, ever in my life. And I couldn't imagine how hard it was. I've never thought about not losing Charlie. I've had so much loss. My mom, my dad, my brother, and now my sweet, sweet dog that saved my life, that came into my life when I needed him so much. I know. The doctor gave him a shot, and he went quietly. A few seconds later, I said, is he gone? The doctor said, I think so. Let me check his heart. He checked his heart, and he said he's gone. So I kissed him a few times, and I talked to him. I told him I was sorry. I told him I was so sorry, and I loved him. And if I'd known that, I'd have treasured every second with him. And then I'm sorry I never got to take him to the hotel like I promised him. And so after that, he was gone. He was gone. My whole sweet baby was gone. And I just sat there paralyzed. I kissed him, and they let me stay with him as long as I wanted to. They told me to take my time. And so finally, they came in, and they brought me the bill. They told me the bill was $598. And I said, all I have is $500. No, the bill was $600. I said, all I have is $500. So I paid what I could, and they said that I could pay the rest when I came back. I need $200 more. They won't give me Charlie. They said Charlie will be back in 2 weeks. So I have to have $200 more to pay for Charlie by the time his body comes back, so that I can get Charlie, get his body. If not, they'll hold his body in his little casket until I get the rest of the money to pay him. But they said that he'll come back in a box with it, and they'll actually take a paw print of him, and they'll put his actual paw print and engrave it onto the box. So that's gonna be. I'm hoping that God somehow finds me the way to get the $200 I need to get his body. But if not, I'm going to work hard at Target and all, and I'm sure it'll sit there as fast as possible. And then I'm going to find a spot for my sweet beloved baby, and I'm going to put him there. And then when Gypsy passes away, which I don't want to think about, I'm going to have her cremated as well. I don't care what it costs. I'm going to do it. I don't know about the rest of my dogs, but these two have been with me forever, through thick and thin, in my old house. And I just love these two animals. Like, Charlie was like no other dog. From the moment Charlie walked into my life, it was love at first sight. The two of us just had this love for each other, just this undying love. And my mom used to always say she never saw a dog look at a human with as much love in their heart as Charlie did. Charlie's eyes could always tell me everything was all right, no matter how sad I was, or how shitty I thought the world was, or how depressed I got. Holding Charlie or looking at Charlie always made me feel better. And now he's gone. He's gone. I don't care that I spent every dime and that I have no money left to my name. I tried everything to save Charlie. I tried everything to save that dog. I tried everything in my power, and I'll come up with the money to pay for his cremation, his box. I will come up with that somehow in the next week. They said he'll be back in a week. It takes about a week to do it, to get the paw print done and get him cremated and put in this box and everything. So I'm gonna pray that the Lord will first of all, that the Lord will comfort me in this time, because this is like losing another member of my family. This one hit so hard, guys, I can't eat. I haven't ate since it happened. I barely have had anything to drink. I can't hold food down. I'm so lost. I'm going to school tomorrow. I am going to do that. I am going to work because I feel like I need to. But after that, I'm probably just going to walk around in a daze for a little while. I'm going to definitely see my therapist, and I'm never going to forget him, guys. I'm never going to forget him. I don't know if I can stick a picture of him in this video because it's being recorded on my phone, but I sure will try before I put it out. If not, my next video that I do, I'll put a picture of Charlie in there. But guys, pray for me. My anxiety is crazy right now. My life's out of control. God is just punishing me or something. And I just pray that somehow they'll get these papers done so I can get this taxes on my house lowered and stuff like that, and maybe I'll be able to get a refund from that or something that'll happen, then I'll be able to get Charlie's ashes back, because I really want them. I can't imagine even now, like, going home and not seeing his sweet little face wanting to go out. Or he always slept on the floor by my bed, because Waffles and Lulu slept in the bed and he didn't want to sleep with them. So he had his own bed, and just looking at it, and I'm not going to lie to you guys, I'm probably going to sleep there tonight in his bed because it smells like him and I don't care. I'm just going to lay there, and that's where I'm going to sleep tonight, because I want to be around Charlie tonight. I was going to wash all that stuff, but not for a while. I wanted to stay right where it is, and I'm sure Gypsy, his sister, will sleep with me. But guys, I'm heartbroken. I'm devastated. I've never, ever, ever... I mean, I've experienced the loss of my father, my mother, my dad. And that hurt. That hurt so, so bad. But Charlie was my emotional support animal, kind of. He was there for me through everything. Through thick and thin. He never let me down, you know? He never let me down. He was always a good friend. I miss you, buddy. I've missed him ever since he died at 3:02 this afternoon. And then Target wouldn't let me call in, so I had to work at Target. So I've been in an emotional wreck all night. And I told him at school that I'm coming to school tomorrow because I like to keep busy. I like to keep busy. But I'm going to be an emotional wreck. I'm going to be just in a fog. I know it. I don't know how long it's going to last. Because I'm going to process this death. I'm going to process Charlie's death. I know, guys, I know animals die. I know that we're not meant to have them forever. He was not 10 years old, 9 or 10 years old. He wasn't old at all. And he passed away. And I'm so sorry that I didn't see the telltale signs of the cancer before, that I didn't maybe take him to the doctor sooner. But every time he would act like he was sick, he'd get better in a day or so. So I thought he just had a bellyache or something. I really feel bad. I begged him to see if there was any kind of chemo. I was willing to sell my house, my car, my body, whatever I had to do to help him, you know, just like I'm doing with Gypsy. I'm giving Gypsy dialysis. I'm paying $100 for food for Gypsy. I'm paying $80 a month for pills for Gypsy, trying to keep her alive. And then I lost the other one, you know, and I feel so bad. I feel like, first of all, I feel like I killed him because I told him to put him down. So I feel like I killed him, even though I didn't. But that's how you feel, you know, because you took his life, you know. You saved his life. He saved your life. He saved your life. And I told the vet that. I said, he saved my life. And the vet said, well, now you can save his. And I said, how's putting him down saving his life? He's like, Bradley, he's not going to live a good life. His quality of life is gone. He's not, you know, his life is not good. And so I understood what he meant. I understood exactly what he meant. And I let him go where he needed to go. It was hard. I guess I'm going to drive around a minute. It was hard. It was so super hard. But I felt it was right. And I'm numb. I don't know how long this is going to last. I don't know how long I'm going to feel this way. I can't imagine going to bed tonight without my sweet Charlie. I can't imagine breathing without Charlie. I can't imagine just his smile, guys, his love that we had for each other. Our story was so special to me, how we met, how wonderful, how we were meant to be together from day one. The first second he saw me, he knew I was his owner. And the second I saw him, I knew I wanted to be his owner. He went into this world loving me and died loving me, and I loved him for it. And I wish I'd have spent more time with him the last couple of days. I wish I would have stayed home. But I'm so glad that whatever sign that was today made me get sick so I could go home, because I wouldn't want to walk into him alone and he'd be dead. I'm glad that I was able to hold his paw when he took his last breath. And I hated watching it, guys. It was the hardest thing I ever saw in my life, but it was necessary. I love you guys so much, and just pray that the money will come for me to get Charlie's body in a week, and that God will work things out, and I'll get on it. I mean, now I've got to pay this loan back that I took out, but I did it in such a crazy. I was like, I have to save my dog. He's dying. Like yesterday when I called him when I got home from school, he wouldn't even wake up. He wouldn't even raise his head, and I flipped out and I was like, I'm going to get this loan to take care of my dog. And I literally flew to the loan place, got the loan, and then I went took him right away to the hospital. And that's when they said it was only his back. Then I ended up spending the rest of the entire stuff just on whatever the bill was today. And so anyway, guys, I love you, and I'm gonna go now because I'm really an emotional wreck, and I can't. It's gonna be even harder when his body comes back. I'll probably do one for you. I don't know how long that's gonna be, how long they'll hold it for me there at the office. I don't know. I have to figure that out once I get the money. But I love you guys. Thank you so much. And for those of you who have donated to me to PayPal in the past couple of months, or donated to me in live chats or super chats, or anytime anyone's ever made a donation to me, thank you so much. I really appreciate each and everything you do, and I always put it towards what you say. What I say, I'm going to put it towards. I love you guys so very much, and right now I'm hurting so bad down inside my body. It's like my heart died. I don't know. I miss him so much. That's why I don't want to go home right now. I passed my house 3 times because I don't want to go home without him, And now I don't know where he's at. Like, he was taken away somewhere to some place to be cremated, and I don't know where he's at, I don't know where his body is until later, And then I started thinking weird things like, what if I get a box that's not really Charlie's ashes? What if Charlie really is in a landmine somewhere? But anyway, with that being said, I gotta go. I'm emotionally tired and drained. But I love all of you, and I thank you all for listening to me and for letting me cry and vent and share my stories. And this has been I know I talk a lot about being broke, and I am at my all-time low, and I had a friend tonight tell me God would pull me through it. And I wonder why God's giving me so much loss in my life. I don't know how much more I can take. Because when Gypsy goes, that's it. Like, that's it. Gypsy's my other baby, Those are my original 2 kids, So, and I love Waffles and Lulu, but me and Gypsy and Charlie had a bond. It's way different than those 2. We've lived through so much more, So I love you guys, and oh my gosh, I'm just lost. I'm so lost. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching my channel, and please know that you're special. Please hug your fur babies, because you never know. I didn't even know my baby had cancer. I did not. So I love you guys very much, and I'll see you later, okay? Bye.